Hello, this is Justice Pivito presenting for Dr. Vasefi's medical neuroscience class over my graduate research article about amygdala abnormalities and their link to psychopathy, specifically antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits. Antisocial behavior is a public health concern that affects thousands of people nationwide and tends to coincide with criminal activity, often aggressive and violent criminal activity. Antisocial personality disorder is a diagnosable condition in the DSM-5, or the Diagnostical and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Callous unemotionality is a similar but distinct set of traits. Antisocial behavior typically manifests in general rule-breaking and aggression, whereas callous unemotional individuals are usually more cold-blooded, remorseless, or lacking in empathy. Frick et al. 2014. Furthermore, a comorbidity of antisocial behavior and callous unemotionality may indicate even further neurological irregularities and negative behaviors. Blair 2017. Several studies show that antisocial behavior has even more of a genetic factor when it is paired with callous unemotionality. Hyde et al. 2013. When these conditions are found together, they have been linked to learning deficiencies in adolescence, as well as neural irregularities, such as the inability to discern certain facial expressions properly. Abnormalities regarding the amygdala is a proposed cause of antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits that has recently gained some empirical backing. The amygdala's connection to various networks and areas of the brain has been shown in many studies to be different in individuals who display antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits. Through studying the amygdala, its connected networks, the functions among the amygdala and its related networks, and the abnormalities found in individuals with both antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits, while also considering those subjects who have one and not the other, researchers have been able to find significant results linking these traits to amygdala irregularities. Abnormal connections between the amygdala and certain networks and their intensity is at the heart of these studies. Which networks and how they differ from typical brains in response to certain stimuli is the common theme in this area of study. The amygdala is often referred to as the emotional center of the brain. Many studies have linked it to all kinds of emotional processing, as well as memory and decision-making. Agajani et al. 2017. And central to this area of study, it is also thought to control your fight or flight response. Blair et al. 2014. The amygdala, along with the hypothalamus and the periaqueductal gray matter, form a pathway that deals with our responses to threats and the degree to which we respond. The distance from the threat is important in this reaction, as shown by the figure taken from Blair et al. 2014. The degree to which this pathway is activated when shown faces of people can be studied, and is the main method used in studies dealing with the amygdala and its relation to antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits. But what are these amygdala irregularities? The amygdala is a hub, and many emotional processes are thought to run through it. The salience network, for instance, is linked to social interaction and self-awareness, and the default mode network is linked to planning. An impairment of these networks is linked to severe antisocial behavior. Hamilton et al. 2015. Young individuals with impairments to these networks could have difficulty learning social behaviors. Important parts of the salience network are the anterior insula, which is linked to compassion and interpersonal experience, and the anterior cingulate cortex, which is linked to ethics, morality, and impulse control. And some important parts of the DMN are the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which is associated with risk and fear and connects the thalamus and amygdala, and the posterior cingulate cortex and the precuneus, which are both linked to pain processing and episodic memory retrieval. Eubank et al. 2018. A study by Agajani et al. 2017 found that abnormal amygdala connectivity and smaller amygdalas, which were caused mainly by the degradation of the basolateral amygdala and the centromedial amygdala subregions were found in juveniles with callous unemotional traits. Most studies on this subject are similar in their chief experimental layout. They show faces exhibiting various emotions to the participants and measure their neurological reactivity to these faces using MRI. Most studies have not focused on a variety of emotions and have mostly been focused on negative emotions such as fear, although a study that we will focus on is by Daughter et al. 2020 that focuses on a wider variety of emotions. Regarding the most recent study and brain activity in response to the facial expressions of some emotions, Daughter et al. 2020, which was just previously mentioned, found some interesting results. Generally, antisocial behavior was linked to stronger positive connection to the default mode network, but weaker amygdala connections to the ventromedial prefrontal cortex and parts of the salience network. Conversely, callous unemotional traits were associated with stronger positive amygdala connection to the ventromedial prefrontal cortex and areas of the salience network like the insula. There are more detailed results regarding which emotional faces caused what degree of reactivity in particular networks and regions. For example, when processing fearful and sad faces, antisocial behavior was associated with stronger positive amygdala connectivity to regions of the default mode network, i.e. the posterior cingulate cortex and the precuneus. But to keep this presentation to under 10 minutes, we will stick to the wider study results. Generally, those with antisocial behavior tend to have higher amygdala reactivity to all faces, and those with callous unemotional traits do not have less amygdala reactivity, except in severe cases, which was the opposite of what was previously thought for a long time. Moving on to other studies, degradation in the basolateral amygdala and in the centromedial amygdala, or smaller than average amygdalas, have been linked to individuals who display antisocial behavior and callous unemotionality. Agajani et al. 2017. Recent findings also found that race was not a significant factor when observing amygdala irregularities in individuals with antisocial behavior and callous unemotional traits, but that sex was a significant factor. Moving on to importance and applications, significance, etc. Antisocial behavior and callous unemotional behavior are a concern for public health, criminology, and society as a whole. The cause of psychopathy and related behaviors is one that has captured the public and scientific imagination, but is only just now being understood at a neurological level. These studies have shown that the amygdala, an important hub for emotional and memory processing, and its related networks have a strong link to antisocial behavior and callous unemotional behavior. These findings could help with the diagnosis of conditions related to antisocial behavior and callous unemotionality, and could lead to future adolescents and adults getting the help that they need. As stated, adolescence in particular is an important time to learn pro-social behaviors and morality. The sooner that someone learns that they may have a neurological predisposition to these conditions, the better. With increased understanding of these typical characteristics, physiological differences, and even anatomical irregularities that correspond with antisocial behavior and callous unemotionality, the closer researchers are to understanding its potential causes. While there are certainly genetic factors and particular environmental conditions that are known to exacerbate these conditions, there's still more work to be done in this area. The ability to advise or even diagnose individuals purely from neurological scans and simple tests will surely be invaluable everywhere, from correctional facilities to medical offices. Additionally, this increased understanding might lead to treatments in the future. Preventative therapeutic treatments for high-risk individuals, targeted therapy, medication, or even surgery could all be in the future for those who have amygdala irregularity caused antisocial behavior and or callous unemotionality. Treating or preventing psychopathy could reduce crime rates, improve the quality of life for affected individuals and their loved ones, and would be a huge step for medical and psychological neuroscience. And here are the references that I used for this presentation. Thank you.